Hello, I'm Riddhi Miglani, and we are moving on to the volume 2 of the Economic Survey 2021. So, this time the topic is the state of the economy, a macro view. The year 2020 threw at the world a bedlam of a novel COVID 19 virus, threatening all that was taken for granted mobility, safety, and a normal life itself. And this is so true. I think at the start of 2020, we wouldn't have imagined ourselves into a lockdown. This in turn posed the most formidable economic challenge to India and to the world in a century. Bereft of a cure or a vaccine, public health policy became central to tackling this all pervasive crisis. The imperative of flattening the disease curve was entwined with the livelihood cost of an imminent recession, which emanated from the restrictions in economic activities from the lockdown required to contain the pandemic. So, this basically means that it was a question of lives versus livelihood, and maybe that somehow. It was known that we could get into a technical recession, which we in fact did in the first half of the financial year 2021. And uh, but since lives were more important, and also that there was no cure for the disease, and we had to focus on flattening the curve so that we could get back ourselves on the road of economic growth again. Now here we see COVID-19 infection waves. Here we make a comparison of advanced economies, the emerging markets, and India and China. So the blue line is clearly the advanced economies, and this is an ever increasing line. And the emerging markets are also increasing. But when we talk about India alone, it's good to see that we are on a declining stage. And when we talk about China, well, it's seriously a mysterious case. God knows what happened. They, I think, reported just 80 or 90,000 cases, and after that, we have not heard anything from them when it comes to COVID. And in cases of deaths too, yes, it's good to see that this green dotted line, which is India, is on a declining stage. And when we talk about the cases per lakhs and deaths per lakhs, of course, the lighter the better. And India, which we see, is in a lighter shade here as well as here, which means that the cases and deaths per lakh has been less compared to what other nations have seen. And now we talk about demand side and supply side shocks. So this was something that we heard during the lockdown, that there were supply side shocks, there were demand side shocks. So let's see what they are. So when we talk about supply side shocks, they are basically that the goods that were produced, they could not move from their manufacturing side to the consumption side because there was restrictions in movements, or that the labor could not move from their homes to the manufacturing sites because they were probably the non-essential goods, and that there was restrictions on the movement of people too. And when we talk about the demand side shock, see, at the start of the lockdown, we people were in we all of us, we were staring at uncertainty, and hence there was a need for all of us to save more. So what happened was, we especially did not have any demand in case of non-essential items because we wanted to save. Of course, essential is something that we will anyway continue to consume and have a demand for, but there was demand side shock when it comes to non-essential items. And here we talk about a sectoral distribution by GVA share and share of casual workers. So this one tells us the share of informal workers in the sector. So we see that construction employs the highest. It has the highest share in case of informal workers, and we see that by gross value addition, that is, when we see GDP from a supply side, we see that agriculture contributes like 18 to 19% to the GDP. Agriculture was largely insulated from the lockdowns in India, as timely and proactive exemptions from COVID induced lockdowns to the sector facilitated uninterrupted harvesting. So while agriculture was exempted from COVID, we also see that it was a good monsoon season, and hence there was good production too. However, supply chain disruptions impacted the flow of agricultural goods, leading to high food inflation and adverse initial impact on major agricultural exports. The manufacturing sector was hit hard in the first quarter but has since picked up, though mining still remains impacted. Construction and service sector were hit the hardest due to the pandemic induced requirements of social distancing and minimizing of person interaction. See, in case of services too, we see that there are a lot of services that involve the interaction between the provider and the taker of the service. And till date, we have not seen services sector coming back to their pre-COVID levels. This is because of the interaction that remains an inherent part of the service sector. And now we talk about the disruptions of global economy by the pandemic. So this is a picture here which shows us the growth in the advanced economies in the European area, in the emerging markets, and the world on whole, and of course India too, since 2010. So since 2010, we see that the growth everywhere has been declining, and this is the time when lockdown was imposed everywhere, and we see everyone has gone down. Like the global growth trend has gone down. And when we talk about India, we see that in 2021, or let's say financial year 2022, we are expecting a growth of around 10% y on y, while the world, in case of world and in other countries for that matter, we may not see such kind of trends. So this is good for India, and let's see if we can make it even better. And now we talk about global PMI. PMI stands for Purchasing Managers Index. This is like a proxy for the manufacturing activity. Anything less than 50 is considered to be contraction, and anything above 50 is considered expansion. So we see when lockdowns were imposed, how this number had gone down drastically, and after the lockdowns were lifted, it has gone up. And for the PMI to continue or to sustain at these levels, it must stay above 50. And now, when we talk about inflation dynamics, now this is a very weird chart, because while the world, majority of the world is either staying flat or the inflation is decreasing in most of the nations, India sees an uptick or an increase in inflation. Now, this is on two accounts. One is the food inflation, as we talked above, and the second reason being crude oil prices going up. Now, what has happened in case of crude oil is that the oil producing nations, they are cutting on their production, because of course they also need to sustain their economies, and India is in talks with them if they can decrease these production cuts, because that would help us, because that would decrease the crude oil prices, and hence it may help us, because currently we see that the petrol prices in Delhi, they are north of 85. So that is actually a problem when we talk about inflation at the moment. And now we talk about government debt as a percentage of GDP. So the green line is the emerging markets and the developing economies. The this dotted yellow line, or sorry, orange line is our advanced economies, and the blue line is the world on the whole. So of course we see that each nation, to contain the virus impact, each nation has taken loans, and hence we see that there is a sharp increase in the percentage, government debt as a percentage of GDP. So this is it about this video. We will continue more on the same topic in the next video. Thank you.